So this is going to be a little update and review of the Forged Motorsport intake for the R32, and of course you can see I removed it from the car, and you're probably wondering why. Well, if you see right here, that's where it hits the hood of the R32. So it's constantly pressing down on it right there. This is how it pretty much goes, and your airflow sensor would be between there. And the stock airbox has a bracket underneath it to hold it to the frame. But this just sort of floats from up there to down here where it mounts with these two screws. And right when I put it on, someone commented that, their scoop broke and splits along the seams. And once I saw that rub mark there, it kind of made sense, The hood's pressing down, puts more pressure on this. And when you look at this, and right here, along these seams where he says it splits, you can see that it's just not filled in all the way there. There's that little crack. It's just poor manufacturing basically, and all along the inside it's sort of like hollowed out. So if I put it back in the car, I'm gonna have to modify it so that it doesn't break. Probably not even 1,000 miles on it before that rub mark started to show up, and that doesn't wipe off. I sent an email to Forge about it, never heard back, but for like the price that these things cost, you'd think that it would fit perfectly. I mean, you could make this out of like a coffee can and some silicone hose, basically. I'm not sure if it's just because, it was made for the Audi and they're trying to make it fit two cars, so they sell it to the R32 people too, but that's where it's going to start breaking, and it's just going to split open because it hits the hood and presses down on this poorly manufactured scoop. So I wouldn't recommend you buy a Forge intake. Alright, so I'm finished messing around with the Forge intake, and the solution I came up with is duct tape. Because you saw where it was just poorly crafted on the seams and probably going to split open eventually because it hits the hood. So along the seams here, you don't put any duct tape seams here, you want to get a good seal on it. Put the seams on the flat parts, and yeah, you can just trace around your little Forge emblem there, and you're good. I also put super glue along the crack. Let me see if I can get it to focus. You remember you could see right through there before on the seam at the top, but I filled it with glue. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much my review of the Forge intake for right now. Can't really comment on the power or any difference like that because I didn't really drive it much with it on there. But yeah, pretty disappointed. I mean, for the $300 you would think it would fit better and be better made, but no. I mean, like I said, I could pretty much give you these diameters. You can get silicone hose and just take anything and make your filter. It doesn't have to be round, it can be a square box. So you're just trying to get rid of all the curves out of the factory main box and just send air straight through, right? So, I mean, you could take the factory air box and probably make it better and just flip it sideways, put it like that with your silicone hoses. Whatever, coffee can, plastic bucket with a filter in it. This can be made for $100 easily and very nicely. But yeah, here's one, all duct taped up. So we'll probably put it back in the car now, and then do the noise pipe delete because I have the pieces to do that. So for the Forge Motorsport intake for the R32, I wouldn't really recommend it. I mean, it's just bound to fail eventually unless you do something like this. But I still don't know what I'm going to do about it hitting the hood. There's no way to really fix that. But yeah, quick little modification to fix your Forge intake if you have one, and your scoop's going to split apart eventually. So there's less than 1,000 miles on this one, and you can already see the mark from where it rubs on the hood. And yeah, I figured I'd take it back out and try to get it right. Maybe we'll modify this in some way, like you can maybe bolt something to here, like a thin little piece of metal, and then screw that in, and then, make it so you can drop this down and then try to lower it so it doesn't hit the hood anymore. I don't know, we'll see what happens when we put it back in the car. So this is just a little update. If you saw the modification where I ran the USB port charger through the bottom of the coin tray, that's like a couple videos back. But yeah, for the USB port I got, it matches the R32 lights pretty much perfectly, the blue. See, when you turn that on, there you have your USB charger, and you turn it off, and yeah, so it's like the same blue lights that are in the R32 interior. Figured I'd point that out. Not sure of the brand or anything, so can't really give you anything to go off there, but yeah.